The New York Liberty are the reigning WNBA champs, but Caitlin Clark's Indiana Fever just might be their biggest threat to repeat. So let's talk some Liberty basketball with our WNBA writer, Maddie Kenney. Maddie, what's going on? We got a little bit over a month before the season. I know you're excited.
Yeah, definitely. I'm ready for training camp to get going.
All right, before we talk Liberty and the Fever,
Mhm.
obviously the breaking news is Diana Taurasi just retired after 20 seasons in the WNBA. You've covered this league for a while now. What legacy did DT leave?
It's crazy because when the news came out, you kind of knew that the time was coming for Diana to retire, but still, when it came out last night, it felt very shocking to some degree. I mean, when you think about all of the things that she accomplished in the course of her career, both in college with three NCAA championships, three WNBA finals, and then you have the all-time leading scorer, all-time three-pointers made. She's done overseas in Russia when she was playing over there. She's very much in that conversation as the greatest women's basketball player to play all time. I think she's without a question a first ballot Hall of Famer. And she set a lot of records that I don't think will be broken anytime soon. One in particular is the six gold medals. I think at that point that might even be just untouchable. But, her impact on basketball, the way that she revolutionized the game with her shooting. She's not just a shooter. Her assists were flashy, no look. She has so many like clutch moments and highlights that it's just hard to even talk about all of her accolades. That she forever will go down as, if not the greatest, up there as top two.
Yeah, while she was at UConn, I was at UMass, and we went down to UConn one time, snuck into a practice just to see her. We wanted to see her because she was a rock star while she was in college. We got kicked out of the arena and all while they were practicing, but it was something that me and my friend felt like we had to do to see her because, like I said, she was basketball gold at the time. So congratulations to Diana Taurasi on a heck of a career, and can't wait to see what's next for her. Now we get to talk the reigning champs, the Liberty. They got their core group back. They've added Isabel Harrison, and they still have the number 7 pick of the WNBA draft. So before we talk about how they'll match up with the Fever or how the Fever matches up with them, do the Liberty have enough on paper so far to make another run at the title?
When you look at what happened in WNBA free agency, obviously a lot of teams got better. A lot of stars were on the move. Rosters had been retooled. I think the Liberty, with running it back, it made the most sense. They had inquired about Satu Sabali, but she didn't want to come to New York. And I think with that said, the Liberty are definitely in position to repeat. They have their core, they have their starting lineup from last year's championship run. I really think that this is a really good, solid group with some quality depth. Bringing in Harrison is a great example of adding to that quality depth. Losing Kayla Thornton hurts, but you know what? I think that they do have the pieces to be a championship contender. Now, the question will be how some of these other teams, like you mentioned, Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever, how they all come together.
Yeah, because you wrote in your article, which I encourage everyone to go check out, that Caitlin Clark and the Fever could be the biggest threat to the Liberty repeating. Why?
I think when you look at what the Indiana Fever did this offseason, they got better in almost across the board. All of the concerns that you might have had with the Fever after last season, they shored up in free agency. You talk about, a lack of, they had issues with defense. Well, you just brought in one of the best defensive-minded coaches in the league in Stephanie White. You brought in Howard, who is a savant when it comes to defense. And a former defensive player of the year, you look at like they lacked experience. Well, you brought in Sydney Colson, Dewana Bonner, Howard. They together have 7 national championship rings, or WNBA championship rings, excuse me. So a lot of those things that you had concerns about have been answered. If I think there was a quote that Stephanie White said that this was like 2 free agencies in one. And Indiana's feeling like very good about their situation. They think that it was a very successful offseason. And I think they're just really excited to get this group together and see how it all gels and works out.
And they got better throughout the course of the year, silenced a lot of haters at the beginning of the season with the run that they were able to make. So I know the draft still has to come up. I know that the season still has to go along. But who's your super duper early picks at who could be the two teams in the WNBA Finals?
I still have a feeling that Indiana might be a year out from being a true championship contender just because we haven't seen how they all gel together and work together. So I think we're going to actually see a repeat of last year's finals. I think it'll be Liberty Lynx, and we'll see. I mean, Nafisa Collier, I mean, look what she's doing at Unrivaled. She's just totally in beast mode. I feel like she's going to have a huge year.
All right. Well, our producer's from Minnesota. She heard Lynx and she just got excited about it. So she loves that. Maddie, thanks for hopping on with us with the draft right around the corner and the season as well. We're going to be seeing a lot of you. So thanks for your time.
Thank you so much for having me.